Manners maketh
Duelist.
Welcome to this episode of Starting Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2022. I'm your host, Susu.
Jen.
And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the proper dueling etiquettes and sort of the mannerisms that you should adopt when you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yep, and if this video helps you at all, like the video and subscribe and comment down below if you have your own advice or if you missed anything else.
Yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is looking away while shuffling your opponent's deck.
Yeah.
Now, this is really important because, recently there has been a cheater that has been caught looking at their opponent's deck
For real?
and stacking their opponent's deck. So for you
Wow.
to kind of set yourself apart,
Yeah.
I highly recommend that when you are shuffling your opponent's deck to look away from shuffling that deck. Now, I understand some people might say, I'm not really good at shuffling. I don't want to damage my opponent's cards.
Right.
Well, if that is the case,
Yeah.
practice shuffling because it is part of the game, okay?
Yeah, it's not even that. It's not even about the stacking part. It's, when you shuffle and you see it, obviously if you see like Ray, Area 0, like,
Yeah,
oh, he's playing strikers, like,
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you see one card like Ecclesia, oh, immediately, oh, she or he's playing Dogmatic.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, try not to do that, guys.
Yeah, like having card knowledge in a game where variance dictates the pace of the game, meaning that the game is random. You, game one, seeing what your opponent is playing gives you a very large advantage. So make sure that you ask your opponent to look away when shuffling the deck, and you do the same.
Yep.
All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is to not pick up your opponent's cards without asking.
Yep.
And even if they do allow you to touch their cards, don't handle them roughly. Now, the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is extremely expensive, okay? Pot of Prosperities are like $130, Lightning Storm's like $120, Droplets, if you're playing the ultimate rare, are like $400 a copy, okay? Now, if I'm playing really expensive cards and my opponent doesn't know how to handle my deck, I'm gonna be really pissed. And if my opponent damages my card, I'm gonna be even more pissed.
Yeah, it's not even that. Even like Ashes, right? Common Ashes, like what, $30?
Yeah, a common.
I would be pretty mad. That's like 5 Starbucks. I don't think that's even 5 Starbucks drinks. Like,
that's a lot of Starbucks
that
drinks.
is a lot of Starbucks drinks. We actually made a like skit like way back in the day.
That's a throwback, yeah.
That's a throwback. So like we could like link it down below or something. But oh my, so Seuss's pet peeve is when someone takes their fingernail, like digs and like, oh, what does this card do? No, we're not memeing, guys.
Yeah,
this
people really do that. They'll literally dig their fingernails into your cardboard, and no amount of card sleeves will protect that damage. So make sure when you are like, trying to point out a card, just do just that and point. You don't have to dig your fingernails into your opponent's cards. The next thing I want to talk about is wash yo ass. Practice basic hygiene. I can't believe I have to say this to a bunch of grown adults, okay? Wash yourselves.
I mean, it is common etiquette, but you just look in the mirror, sanitize, that's it. Like, that's all we ask for.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing you could bring to a tournament, other than your deck, playmat, and deck box, is probably deodorant. Bring some deodorant. It will only help you, and now judges can actually disqualify you for smelling bad. Okay, so another thing that will really help you have proper dueling etiquette is declaring your effects clearly and your targets clearly, and no take backsies.
Yep. I know there's a lot of instances where people would commit to a play and they'll be the other opponent would be, oh, you actually want to do that? And they're like, oh, you know what, never mind, let me take it back.
Yeah, or like, your opponent will make a monster and try to activate the monster's effect, but don't meet the requirements for that effect, and they'll take back 4 summons to get to a state where they can repair their own game state. But generally speaking, in a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Environment, that is absolutely not allowed. And if your opponent does try to do that, I highly recommend you to call a judge so it doesn't happen again and again. Not only are you saving yourself, but you're saving the next duelist from from meeting the same fate.
Yeah.
Okay, so to piggyback from the last one, okay? Be respectful and don't shark. Now, a lot of you guys may not know what sharking is, and sharking is basically when, your opponent takes every little thing, or, you take every little thing and then try to call a judge on this person to accuse him of cheating or doing something that this person is actually not, right? One of the biggest things is like, if you like look over your shoulder a couple of times and someone's like, yo, judge, he's looking over his shoulder, while it might be something you do when you're anxious, or it might be like a tick that you have, but generally speaking, like in a casual environment, most of the time, just, just let it slide unless it's like really game altering.
Yeah.
But most of the time, you know, both players are there to have fun and play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Just show good sportsmanship and just be friendly. I think everyone could be friendly and put a smile on their face.
Yeah.
And the next thing is play to the best of your capabilities and try not to slow play. So this is basically, obviously, know your deck. Know what your cards do. And I mean, I'm sure obviously you can't know every single card in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, but just, you know, just the general meta, really, like Ash, just simple hand traps like that. Just try to know what they are, what they do.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. I think the best advice is to like know your deck, like know your own deck and know like the top 3 decks in the meta. Because I mean, if that's what's, you know, being played everywhere, and you know your deck and everyone else's deck, you should probably fare a really good chance against the meta. Now, a lot of players who are new will take a lot of time to read their cards and figure out their plays, and you know, most of the time them playing slowly is not malicious, but you know, sometimes it is nice to kind of nudge your opponent and say, hey, you know, if we could play a little faster, that would be nice. Try not to be a dick about it, because your opponent will, you know, probably in turn do that right back to you.
Yeah, just keep up the pace.
Yeah, and just be respectful. You know, most games that do, or rather most players that play this game are young adults to older adults, because, you know, I am in my, I'm 30 now, and you know, I love this freaking game, but you know, I always try my best to show my opponent the utmost level of respect. Now, I'm sure this next thing is something that I really shouldn't have to say, but I'm going to say it, okay? Don't cheat and don't try to maliciously stall. Now, this game, there are multiple ways to cheat. You know, with sleight of hand, the way, you know, you shuffle your own deck, the way you shuffle your opponent's deck. You know, there's ways to soft cheat by, you know, using effects that your opponents aren't fully aware of, or not using effects that your opponents are fully aware of. But don't be that guy. You know, like for every cheater, people look at this community in a really bad way. Like you would need 1,000 great people to kind of overshadow a single cheater, which is really insane if you think about it. But I think as a quick PSA, don't cheat. I mean, cheaters never prosper. And if you cheat, like, I'm sorry, you're a dickbot. Like, I'm gonna have to, you know, obviously I'm gonna bleep that out, but you know, don't be that guy.
Yeah, there's no other way for us to say it. It's just be a nice dude. Just play the game. That's it. Yeah,
we're here to play a game that we all enjoy. Don't be that one guy to make it not enjoyable for the rest of the, you know, from the rest of the community.
And I think this is actually a thing that gets overlooked quite easily, is please do not put open drinks or food on the table. Guys, same thing. We're kind of retracting back, but these are expensive cards. I don't care if you paid $100 or $1. $1's still money. Like, I don't think you want ketchup stains on your cards.
I mean, not even that. Like, if there's an open drink on the table and that spills,
my God.
If someone spills anything on my cards, like that, it'll guarantee seep through the sleeve.
It's not even that,
and it will damage your card.
No, it's not even that, because we're playing on long tables, right?
Oh yeah.
Liquid travels. You spill that, it goes all the way to the other players. So definitely have bottled drinks, or just keep it in your bag. Yeah,
just keep it in your bag and like take sips in between rounds, but you know, try not to take sips during the freaking game while your opponent is comboing, because now I'm worried about my cards and I'm worried about you being not the smartest tool in the shed. Okay, so this last one kind of ties in with something that we've already talked about, but give your opponent enough time to play. Right? To call their chain links, to think about their plays, etc. and etc. This game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is probably one of the hardest games that you can pick up and try to play. Okay, so now for new and returning players, that feeling is, it goes from like being anxious to being overwhelming. So give your opponent a chance. Obviously, if your opponent is maliciously doing it, or being quote unquote a wolf in sheep's clothing, obviously call it out, because you know, it's pretty easy to call out. Usually if a person is giving you bad vibes, you know, it's pretty obvious as to why you're getting those vibes, and make sure, you know, you respectfully ask your opponent to, you know, stop doing what they are doing.
And honestly, it might look really slow on the outside, but on the inside, their heads are going like 20, like 100 miles per hour, like thinking, oh my God, should I ash this? Should I ash the next card? Like, they're thinking, they're trying, you know, we're all thinking, so just give enough time.
All right, guys, so that's it for today's episode of Starting Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2022. If this video helped you out at all, help us out by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and comment down below if you have any tips or tricks for new or returning players, or if we missed anything in this video.
And guys, there's nothing hotter than a duelist with manners. So, This is Jen from Head to Head Battles.
Susu from Head to Head Battles, signing out.
What's up, guys?
If you haven't subscribed, make sure to click that button right there in the middle.
Also, if you haven't watched that video that YouTube is recommending you, it's probably crazy, alright? Go watch it. This is Susu from Head to Head Battles.
Jen from Head to Head Battles.
Signing out.